presentation and demonstration of the PITHIA NRF eScience Center. I'm Tamas, and I work at the University of Westminster and leading the team that is developing this eScience Center. The aim of this demonstration is to give you a very quick overview of what is the aim of the eScience Center and how it works, what kind of functionalities you can access through the eScience Center. The aim of the eScience Center is to serve the PITHIA community. PITHIA stands for Plasmasphere, Ionosphere, and Thermosphere research communities. And the eScience Center provides you access to various data collections, tools, prediction models, and other resources that make it easier for scientists to find it and to utilize it through the eScience Center. So if you go to the eScience Center, if you would like to go to the eScience Center, you need to navigate to esc.pythia.eu. This is the URL where you can access the eScience Center. And once you are there, you will see that there are three major types of functionalities within the eScience Center. You can search and browse various data and the related metadata within the eScience Center. You can get more information and an insight into the space physics ontology, which the project developed. And you can access the data registration functionalities. At the moment, because I'm not logged into the eScience Center, I can only see a data registration guide, but I cannot see the actual functionalities. In order to see the functionalities, I have to log in. And that is what I'm going to show you later on this demonstration. But first, let's start with the most important functionalities, the search and browse functionalities. These functionalities are open to all scientists. So this means that wherever you are in the world, you don't have to log in, you don't have to authenticate, you just come to this page, and coming to this page, you can access all of these functionalities. I will start here in the middle. So the simplest way of finding a data collection which you are looking for, data collection in PITHIA sense can mean either a data set, a set of data, okay, or a prediction model which you can potentially execute or where you can see the data outcome, the data results of that model. So the easiest way, not the easiest way, the simplest way to find it is browsing the data collections. If you click on Browse Data Collections, then you can see all the data collections that are currently registered within the PITHIA eScience Center. We have quite a few by now. And just by simply clicking on the selected data collection, you can select that and you can interact with the data collection. I will show it later how to do that. This one currently lists all the data collections in alphabetical order. So this is a very simple way of finding that. But you need to know really what you are looking for. And as our data collections are increasing in number, then it is becoming more and more and more complicated, obviously, to find the right data collection. So because of that one, we have introduced some other ways of finding data collections. So for example, you can search for data collections by content. And by content, we mean that we develop the space physics ontology, and you can use the keywords of that space physics ontology in order to find your data collection, the data collection you are looking for. So for example, I can search for data collections based on feature of interest. So this could be things like asteroid, Earth, Sun, and so on. I can also look for data collections by computation or instrument types. So for example, activity indicators, models, in situ sensing instruments, remote sensing instruments, and then I can dig down into these categories, or by observed properties. So for example, electric field, magnetic field, collision frequency, and so on. Now, if I would like to find something, let's go back to, for example, feature of interest, and I would like to find something which is related to the heliosphere, and within the heliosphere, I'm only interested in the inner heliosphere and the near Earth. And again, there are further categories there which I can select. So if I selected my choices, then I can just click on search. And once I clicked on search, that I can find, in this particular case, I found one particular data collection which fulfills my search criteria. Okay, so that was one way of searching, and you can search by content based on the PITHIA ontology. Now, another way of searching, and this could be probably slightly easier for newcomers or those who are searching for the first time. So you can search a data collection based on a free text search. So for example, if I'm looking for data collections that I associated with one of our project partners, AceCut, then I can run a search, and then I can find all those data collections that I somehow associated with AceCut. As you see, quite a few of them. Some of them that has in the name directly, and some others somehow associated with this particular partner of the project. Not necessarily at the top level, but somewhere down the ontology, AceCut is mentioned, and we can associate with that. In case of the free text search, there are two options. You can search for AceCut, and then wherever it appears as part of a word, for example, it will be returned. Or you can search for exact match. And if you search for exact match, then only when this word appears, then you are going to see that. So these are the search capabilities within the eScience Center. Now, the searches were searching for data collections. Data collections are typically very large data sets or prediction models which are provided by your partners. Besides data collections, you can also search for catalogs. So you can browse things which are called catalogs. Catalogs are typically smaller things, most of the time related to a particular interest or, for example, to a publication. So we have at the moment one example catalog registered only. For example, if I click on this particular catalog, this is called Volcano Eruption, which means that this catalog is going to include information which is somehow related to volcano eruptions. And within these catalogs, I can have catalog entries. So for example, in this case, I have one entry in this catalog, the Honga Tonga 2022 volcano eruption. So this includes data which is related to this particular volcano eruption, the 2022 Honga Tonga eruption. And then within the catalog entry, I can have catalog data subsets. And these catalog data subsets are particular sets of data which are related to that particular event which we are talking about. You can even go to the actual content of that data, and you can see what is stored in that particular catalog entry. And you can also assign a DOI to that. So this has already been assigned a DOI by the eScience Center. So the eScience Center, during the registration process, assigned a valid DOI for this particular entry. And again, clicking on the DOI, you can go to the landing page of this particular data catalog entry. We believe this is very useful, especially in case you would like to link your publication, for example, to a certain set of data, which is time-stamped and which cannot change. So this means that this is actually never changing. It is time-stamped and stands as it is and can always refer to the data in your publication. So if I go back to the main page, the last functionality in the first category, where I can browse metadata, and this is all the metadata which is describing a certain data collection. So if I go to data collection related metadata, you see that although the main aim is to describe data collections, but data collections are described through processes, computations, computation capabilities, acquisition capabilities, and so on, up to the individuals who are responsible for that data collection, or the organizations or projects who created that particular data collection. And inside each of these categories, you will find the registration document. So for example, each organization is described with an XML document, which the content of these XML documents can be browsed in this page. So you can see some information about the particular organization who registered that particular document. Now, these XML pages, which are describing the registrations, are all based on an ISO standard, which is describing observations and measures. So that is the one which is driving our metadata structure. And within the description files, you can use keywords from the previously seen space physics ontology. Okay, so this is what you can see in the browse category as a single user. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting, you can not only see these data collections, you can actually interact with these data collections. So let's go back to browse metadata, which we have seen earlier before. And then if we come here, then you can see various data collections. For example, activity indicators, HP30, AP30 indices. If you click on here, then this takes you again to some information page, which is coming from the XML documents which were registered. And if you click here, then you can directly get to the data set. So you can see the exact data in this particular case in a TXT file. You can download it and you can do anything what you would like to do with that particular file. So in this case, it is directly taking you to the data itself. Now, in some other cases, there are other ways of looking at the data collection. So, for example, if I go to this particular example, the DID-based ionogram database, then clicking on the link takes you to an external portal. Okay, so this is the external DID-based portal, and here you can use the portal remotely, accessing it from the Science Center or getting to this from the Science Center, and then you can kind of use the capabilities and the functionalities of the portal itself. Now, probably the most important examples are where the data collections are directly connected to the Science Center through an application programming interface and a graphical user interface, which is generated automatically from that API or application interface description. So if I, for example, select the BSPM model, then again, you can see a description of the model and further information. And also, you can click on the link, which takes you now inside the Science Center into the execution page of the BSPM model. So this is a very simple graphical user interface, which was generated automatically from the description of the API. And in this particular case, you have 4 functionalities. You can execute the model, you can retrieve previous executions, you can create a plot, or you can download all the results of the execution in a file. So let's see first that what are those executions which have already happened in the past. So if I come here and I execute this particular functionality, I can see that, for example, on the 2nd of January 2015, this run has already been completed. So the data for 2015-0102 has already been completed. So let's go to execute and put in this date. So I'm enabling it. And after that, it is 2015-0102. I need a 02. And if I run it or execute it, then I can see that this has already been completed. Okay, this is what we have expected already, because this run has already been completed. One run takes up approximately 20 minutes, so I can't run it inside the demonstration. So let's take this particular execution date and let's go to creating a plot. So if I click here, again, I'm enabling it. I'm putting in the date 2015-0102, and I say that I'm interested in 6 o'clock in the morning, so the hour will be 6. And then if I run the plot, then it is going to show me the results in a graphical format. Okay? And obviously, you can do this for every particular date and every particular time. And obviously, if you are interested in the more detailed results, then you can download all the results in a zip file based on the date and time which you specify. So this was just one example for a model which you can directly execute from the eScience Center. So if I go back to home, I think we have more or less now covered these set of functionalities. Let's see the second set of functionalities, which is about the ontology. First of all, you can browse the ontology, and also you can read a more detailed guide about the ontology. So this is available in the eScience Center in a PDF file format, and you can read very detailed information what is the space physics ontology which the project developed. Now, if you would like to browse the ontology, then what you need to do is that you just simply click on this button, Space Physics Ontology, and there you can see the various categories of the ontology. So, for example, if you are going to data levels, then you can see a definition of our data levels. So what we mean on level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 data. And you can get more information and you can kind of dig down in this tree structure. And then at the lowest level, you can read the RDF definition file of that particular ontology if you are interested in this particular thing. Okay, so in this case, users can get familiar with the space physics ontology. They can find information, what they would like to know about the space physics ontology, and so on. Now, the third set of functionalities is registration. And registration is not open, okay? The reason why registration is not open, because we would like to know who registers what, okay? So anybody can access all the registered resources in PITHIA, but obviously, if you have rights to access the registration, then you can delete your existing registrations, you can modify them, and we don't want to allow this to everybody. So this means that only a guide is available about the registrations, which is very similar to the ontology guide, a very detailed document describing how you need to register something in PITHIA. For example, the 12-step registration process is detailed here. But if you would like to register a new document or a new resource, then you need to log in. So logging in at the moment, it is working on a simple username password basis. We are developing currently a more sophisticated user management authentication and authorization system. Now, once I logged in, you see that there are multiple additional functionalities available under the data registration tab. So you can, for example, watch the metadata models. So these are all the schemas which are describing or XML documents. This is really for the advanced users who would like to understand how this is built. So it's very unlikely, even if you are registering something, that you will need this kind of functionality. However, the register and manage metadata functionality is very, very important for you. Now, you can register either data collections or catalogs. The registration is very, very similar. You need to upload the XML registration file which you would like to do. Now, if I click on data collection related metadata, then you will see our 12 different types of metadata, starting from organizations to data collections. And obviously, if you click on that, then you can see the actual way how this can be registered. Now, if you would like to register new metadata, then you click here, plus register. So this means that you can upload a new file, okay? So you can go here to choose a file, and if you go there, then you will be directed to a usual file browser. You can select the file you would like to upload, and then you upload it. And when you upload, then the eScience Center will check whether that file is correct or not. So it will check whether it has the right XML syntax. it will check whether it uses the right schema, so it conforms to the XML schema. It checks whether the ontology terms are used correctly, and it also checks whether the dependency between the various levels of documents is correct or not correct. So it is doing quite a lot of checking to assure that the uploaded file is correct. Obviously, it cannot check the content of that. So if you make kind of scientific related mistakes, the Science Center cannot spot that. So those are going to stay there. And once you uploaded the file, then this registration is complete from the scientific point of view. And you can also define an interaction method. So one interaction method can be just a link, as I already showed you in the previous part of the demonstration, but it can also be an API. And if you select API, then you need to provide a link to the API and maybe a short description just for us and for you to know what this API is actually doing. So this is the data registration process, and this is how you actually register a new data collection or a new catalog. Now, if you would like to get kind of more functionalities out of this, then once you register something, you can delete that, okay? Because you may realize that, no, it is not needed, I don't need it anymore, you can delete it. You can also update it, so you can modify the XML file and upload a new modified XML document, and you can also view it. Now, viewing it is very, very important, and you can even download it if you want. Because when you are registering, for example, a new entity, for example, a new organization, a new data collection, then you may want to have a look at an example. And the only thing which you need to change from the example is the actual text which you are putting there, okay? So all the tags, all the structure, everything remains the same, providing you a kind of template for the registration. And then it is obviously much, much easier to write your registration documents. So this was the quick overview of the Science Center. We are actively working on this. So you are going to see more and more and more functionalities as we go ahead. And obviously I'm going to provide updates and more updated videos from time to time in order to show you what changed in the Science Center and how you can use it. So with this one, I would like to finish. Thank you very much. I finished my demonstration, and I hope that you are going to enjoy using the Science Center.